All right. Howdy, everyone. My name's Ethan. I'm here with Timothy Dyck from Abbotsford, British Columbia.
Hey.
So nice to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ethan.
We've just spent a few days together working in the shop and visiting and having a great time. And I'm sitting down here with Timothy this morning to interview him a little bit. I thought, as we were talking last night, what a great conversation it was, and I wish that other people could have heard it. We were doing a lot of talking about shop setups and different things related to blacksmithing. And so I've collected a bit of questions, and I think his answers are going to be interesting to you. Let's start off with just something simple. How old were you, Tim, when you started forging, and how did it lead into your business?
Yeah, for sure. So I was about 13 when I first got into blacksmithing. It was through the avenue in school. We were studying medieval times, and as a natural young boy, I was intrigued with the weapon section, and I saw a picture of chainmail. It's just a little piece, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. I should try seeing if I can build that. So that was clothes hangers from the closet, cutting those with pliers and starting to bend those around and trying to figure out the weave. Once that started figuring out, it just kind of escalated to, through the summer, I ended up building a whole shirt out of chainmail. And then the natural progression was, well, wouldn't it be cool to try to get a forge and see what that looks like. And then as soon as my dad helped me put a forge together, just a little brake drum forge, coal forge, as soon as it got into that, I was just kind of lights out. This is amazing. This is what I wanted to do. And then it just kept going on just a natural progression. You know, it was expensive to forge, so I need money to buy propane and coal and steel. So try to get some craft shows going, try to sell some knickknacks. And then that turned into custom projects between high school years in the summers. And then just out of high school, I had the unique opportunity to be a interpreter blacksmith, they call it, at the local Fort Langley. It's an old historical site.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I did that for a summer, and then went off and worked for a blacksmith for 4 years as an apprenticeship, Paul Reimer in Cranbrook, BC. And then after that, I came back to the Valley, the Fraser Valley, which is where I grew up, and then started my business there and just been wheeling and dealing then. I guess that's been almost like 7 years or so. So wow, that's incredible when you say it like that. So yeah, that's the nutshell of what it's been.
Tim, who would you say is your biggest influence in three categories here? Life in general, your blacksmithing, and your YouTube. And if they blend together, then that's awesome, but yeah.
That's actually a tough question, Ethan. Oh, okay. Man. As a young, learning to become a blacksmith, what are the names that come to mind? Mark Asprey was a huge influence on me on the technical side of things, and I loved everything about that. I sucked that up like crazy. His 3 books are incredible. A really big resource that is not talked a lot about nowadays, I think, in the blacksmithing community, or at least in my circles, which if anybody's starting out, I really recommend those 3 volumes. They're really dense books, but in the best way possible.
Okay.
And then Brent Bailey was a big influence there. Conrad Hicks, he's a South African blacksmith, and his style is just huge on plasticity. He has big hammers, and just it's very different work than I would ever try to probably do. So, but I remember as a very young blacksmith, I was like really intrigued with that. I mean, I could keep going on. Brian Russell from the UK is just an incredible blacksmith as well. I mean, there's so many. Mm-hmm. I feel like my blacksmithing just sort of changed, and is changing what I like to do and focus. So as it changes, you become looking at different people and whatnot. For me coming into YouTube, it was an interesting time in life because I felt like a little bit fatigued in my blacksmithing business. I felt like I had kind of capped out. I was doing a lot of work for one client, and it wasn't stretching me in a lot of ways. It was stretching me in ways, but I wasn't creatively stretching me. I was just doing what they wanted me to do, and I wasn't super excited about it, to be honest. And was just trying to figure out different things, the architectural world, which is what I was focusing on, doing custom things for homes, was sort of starting to toll on me a little bit too. And so that's, I was starting to look at different things. And then the YouTuber that kind of influenced me the greatest, which has influenced many people, is actually Peter McKinnon. And he was just kind of starting out at that time when I sort of found onto his channel and watched him grow. And what captivated me about YouTube, and I hadn't seen this done before or wasn't exposed to it, was the ability to draw people into the story and emotionally engage a person through video versus just like an informational sort of side of things. That's how I previously viewed YouTube. And that emotional experience of bringing people into the story of what you're doing, whether that's through vlogging or daily life or a project or a tutorial, I felt like Peter McKinnon had really done that well and still does. And I was like, wow, that was the creative side, the creative energy that I was missing. And so I was like, well, maybe I can apply that. And then Alex Steele was going really hard, and I was like, well, wait, there actually is people who want to watch Blacksmith. I'm not kidding you. At that time in life, I was like, people had talked to me about YouTube. I'm like, yeah, but who's going to watch a Blacksmith? It's just, there's only like a couple of us out there. And then seeing that there was exposure to it and that people liked it, I was like, wow, I should really try this. So that started me on the journey on YouTube.
And as a Christian, what difference does that make to your work specifically? How do you,
So I think what I would actually say is, to those of you who don't know, I make a series. It's been a series that's been a long time. It's been exercised in different objects, and it's the Reclaimed series. So it's taking old steel, typically train steel, that's what it is today, but it's old steel that's like essentially waste or scrap or forgotten, and I'm taking that, I'm reclaiming it, I'm reforging it. It's the story of the blacksmith from a long time ago, repurposing everything. But I feel like that also resonates with me as a Christian. I think so, at least, sort of that when something has been forgotten and been discarded by the society or the people, that there's the ability for that to be reclaimed. And I feel like that's what the Lord has done with us in some regards, is that without him we're basically nothing, and he takes us, and I don't want to say these words because they don't quite line up quite right, but he recreates us into a new creation through the blood of Christ. And that's a very, I wouldn't want to compare my work exactly like that, but I feel like the influence of that in my life has directed my work. And now with the axes, we're building those from train rail, and we try to keep those 100, as old as I can find, so that's 100 years old.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the question you're thinking, but that's I think it has influence on my work in that regards. More of like honest goods is something that I'm really fascinated with. Less of the busyness in my work and just simplicity. And I feel like that's something that Christ calls us to live. I don't want to say simplistic life, because that's sort of, what does that mean? But like an honest life, like genuine.
Yeah.
And I feel like that shows through your work in some ways. I'm not saying, though, that people who do really fancy, exotic pieces, that has to be a correlation. But anyways, there's some influence in there. So that's what I would say to that a little bit.
Yeah. So Tim, what does an average day look like for yourself? When you wake up in the morning, do you drink coffee? And you have a wife and kids? When do you go to work? How does that look?
Yeah, so I would say it's a little bit unbalanced a little bit, because it's a lot of work right now. But typically I wake up at about 6 or 6:30, and then I'm straight into work, working on the computer, just pushing emails, pushing kind of that side of the business side of things. And then on a good morning, I'm packing lunch and coffee. Yep, I drink coffee. Out the door at about 7:30 to get to the shop for 8. But often, the business, the computer work takes longer than that. Yeah. But get to 8, get the morning going with Martin, check in with him, see what he's up to, make sure he's good to go. And then either I'm cranking on a YouTube video, or I'm doing support work for Martin, getting shop supplies, running around getting this or that. A little bit more of that right now, just in the time or season we're in. And then just making sure other projects that are in the background that are needing to go forward are going forward. And usually the softer end of it is on the first part of the week, the first couple days. And then I'm really, at the end of the week, I'm pushing hard to be getting a YouTube video out, just making sure that's coming along. But so Monday I might not be filming. If I'm doing a one a week upload, Monday I might not be filming. But then out of Monday, for the rest of the week, I want to be filming whatever I'm doing. And then on Friday. Sorry, this has gone into a week model instead of a
That's
day
okay.
model. On Friday is editing day, so I'm out of the shop 100%, and actually that's not true. I'm focused on editing and uploading on Friday, so sometimes I have to do a little couple bits and pieces of work to make it flow. But then quitting time is always 4:30 for us, and then go home, and then try to not work if I can, and that's spent time with family. We do supper, get the kids in bed, check in with my wife. We spend some time together, and we're usually going to bed around 9:30 or 10. And I try super hard to not do work after work, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Sometimes uploads that happens. Sometimes there's different scenarios. But that's kind of a typical day and typical week, if that's a thing.
Yes, that's a wonderful answer. While it's on my mind, I have another question that popped in. And the answer to this, I don't have to put on the YouTube video if you don't want. So talking about editing videos and taking little snippets and putting it together to make the videos flow, do you ever find yourself having to fake things once in a while? Like if you set the camera up, you did a process, it was wrong shot, wrong angle, and you can't do it again or something like that, and you kind of have to fake it, or is it pretty much all genuine?
Okay, love the question. It's very rare that I will go back to catch something else on camera. It's either A, we got it, or B, we don't know we missed it, or we just missed it. And you only find that out in the editing. Like, I'll be editing and I'm like, oh, something happened with the mic on these takes. Okay, those are scrapped, and I don't have time. I just keep going.
Okay.
And then for setting up cameras, it was really hard at first to be getting everything right. And then also the pressure of, this is the first time I've ever doing it. I think the time that comes to mind that I felt like the most pressure, and it's not, but it's just a story of the time, is when I made the first Damascus case zippo. Because I had, at that point in life, I had never made Damascus. And I was like, how should I do this one? Like, no, I'm just going to sell it. I'm just going to go for it and just say, just talk strong, like I'm confident about it. And so I had to hope it works out. So we just did the first take, filmed and everything, and we didn't have time to go back. And luckily it worked out. So there's definitely some times where we're flying by the seat of our pants. And there's the occasional time where something goes wrong and we're like, well, we better just fake that a little bit. But I could only remember like 1 or 2 times. There was something about the titanium tongs. I think it was the rivet. It didn't work out. And I didn't have time. And I'm like, just going to put together. We're just going to have to ride with that. And then the only time that comes to mind that we had to do a retake, occasionally it happens. Something happened with the cameras. I didn't get it. And Martin and I were moving the Nazel 3B ram guide. It's gotta be 300 pounds. It's super heavy. And Martin's a beast. And we lifted it from the table to the milling machine. We slid it on. And then I put it on and I'm like, Martin, I didn't get that. I want to get that shot. He's like, yeah, no problem. So we took it off. We put it back on the table. And then when we went to put it on the second time, you didn't see it in the video, but Martin's pinky was under it and it landed right on the sharp corner, like a table, but steel and steel. And on his face, right, I'm looking at him and he's just like, and he didn't say anything, right? We put it down, he does the take, the camera goes off and he's like Martin is like super tough, no emotion, like he doesn't show his emotion, and his pinky is just like, it's just black, and it was just black, the whole thing. He lost the nail and everything, right?
Oh man.
So that was the one retake that I just felt terrible about, right? Because it's like, that didn't have to happen. I missed it with the camera. I felt really bad about that.
If you were to have another job other than the blacksmith YouTuber, what would it be?
Yeah, this is actually a hard question because I've been asked that many times.
I bet.
And I actually don't have an answer.
Okay.
Because...
You got it, folks. Blacksmith YouTuber is the be-all, end-all.
It's not the be-all, end-all, but it is where I'm at. Like if it doesn't work out, like if I can't make this work, like I actually don't know what I'm going to do.
Okay.
And I feel like I think it has to be that way for this to work. And I feel like if there's people who kind of like, they become big-eyed and fantasize about blacksmithing as a job and what I get to do, it's amazing, and I'm super grateful for it. But I also feel like if people are like, oh, I want to become a blacksmith, I'm like, well, how bad do you want to become a blacksmith? Like, is there anything else that you can do and be like, yeah, I could do that and be okay? Then you probably shouldn't do blacksmithing, because it's going to take everything you've got to do it.
Yeah.
You know, so if you've got kind of a soft spot on it, like, I don't know, that might not work. But that being said, so let's just run the worst case scenario that it didn't work out. I had to do something else. I feel like I actually might be inclined to go out of trades, like out of hands-on work.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that would look like. Like, I really do enjoy my editing time and videography, the creative side of that. And then on the flip side, I would also look at probably working for a manual machine shop. Those would be those would be my two options at this point that I would know.
Okay.
So, hard questions here, Ethan. Man.
Yeah. Let me give you a little easier one.
Okay.
So, Tim, you've had the privilege, I'm sure, of doing all different types of jobs. Which one has given you the toughest go, so to speak?
This is a tough question. After I do this video podcast, I'm sure there's going to be a whole bunch of stories that come to mind and situations that might be better. But the one that pops to mind right away is when you say that is when I was and it's been the case in many, many places, but this is just the one story. There was this one job that came up. It was for a guy called Redman. Like, I'm not kidding. Everybody calls him Redman. Big red beard, big red hair, real fiery guy, right? Typical. Anyways, he was building a log home that was kind of like his dream home, his retirement home, his finished home. And we got connected, and so the ironwork, he wanted me to do a spiral staircase, do the lighting, do a chandelier, kind of just go through the house and do my work on it. And I was really excited about it. It was at the time when I was just kind of starting out, and I just really wanted to do it. So I did my best. I gave him the samples, did all these different designs. I did like 4 different designs for everything to make sure I hit it, if I missed it.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand, he was a cash deal kind of a guy. He wanted to really wheel and deal on the prices. So I got really ground down, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it because I'm a young guy. And this was his point too. He's like, oh, I have people coming through here all the time. They're going to see your work. You're going to get tons of work. And many people have said that to me. And now looking back, I would say to anybody who, if you're starting out and somebody says, oh, you should do this job, just do a good, just do it because it's going to be worth the exposure, the advertising, that implies that you should not do that job. Because if you want to work for people who value your work for what it is, because then they'll have friends that will do the same. So if you get ground down and on a bad budget deal, you don't want to be in that flow of stream. So anyways, that's what happened to me. And, the spiral staircase was like, it's some of my proudest work for going into a home. That it was like an industrial themed forged work. So it was heavy textures.
Okay.
Everything was textured.
Cool.
Square bolts, square nuts. Huge. I built 1 1/4 inch square bolts that went in the whole spiral staircase to hold the whole thing up. It was really, really fun. And then at the end of the job, I started working through the budget. Like, how much money did it make? And, once I got through the costs, I was down to about $6 an hour I was making. And then I decided, well, I probably shouldn't continue to figure this out because I haven't started to pay myself yet. So that was not a great financial scenario. And to date, I have not got any other work out of that place. So
That's really good advice. I would back that up. Okay. What a good story. Well, thanks, Tim, for taking the time. I really appreciate it. You're on your way back to Abbotsford. Have a safe drive.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you soon. It was
Awesome.
a pleasure.
Thank you, Ethan.